All right, so we're talking about data joins today. And data joins are really, really useful, really powerful, um, really common tasks that we need to do when we're working with data. And the basic idea is that when we're joining data, we're combining data from multiple tables in different ways. So I might have a spreadsheet that tells me what different people's salaries are, and I might know what county those people live in. And I might have another spreadsheet that has my counties and the median income for those counties. And one really interesting thing might be to compare these people's salaries to the median income in the county that they live in. Okay, so we're going to use a join for that. And the basic logic of a join is going to be I'm going to take each row in my data. I'm going to have something that I'm checking against, right? A column. So I'm going to say, okay, for this row, the county is Hayes. So I'm going to go to my counties. I'm going to find the one that has Hayes, and I'm going to take this column and I'm going to add it here. So it's going to say Hayes. Okay, the median income in Hayes is 30,000. It's going to say Hayes. Okay, the median income for Hayes is 30,000. Travis, I'm going to go look it up. The median income for Travis is 60,000. So this would say 60,000 right here. Okay. So this can be very powerful, and there's other things that we're going to go over that you can do with a join as well. Just some background on this. The vocabulary that we use for data joining comes out of database technology. So if you really like this, if you want to get really into this, do more complex joins, maybe go over to computer science, talk to people about SQL, SQL is a database technology, or kind of get into that yourself. All right, so let's go ahead and do a join. I like to keep my data in their own tabs and then have another tab where I'm going to do something like a join. So I'm going to add a tab here. I'm going to start from a tab. So I'm going to start from my salaries tab. And that's going to load the data in here. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and call this my salary join. All right. So I start here. I'm going to add a step. I'm going to add a join tab. So we're on our salaries. I'm going to select the tab to join. So I want to bring in my counties data. Join on. So when we're in Workbench doing this, your column headers have to match exactly. Okay, so there has to be a lowercase county in both tables. If there's not, it won't even give you an option here. So I'm going to join on county, and then I'm going to add the median income column. So median income is a column in counties. I want to add it here to my salaries. Now here is the potentially confusing and interesting part of joins. So we join type, we have left, inner, and right. And you can see that the icon for joins is this Venn diagram. So basically what we do is we pretend that one of our tables is on the left and one is on the right, okay? So here we've started with my table that I have open, my salaries, so that's my left table. And then we pretend that over here on the right is the table that we're joining. So it's my counties table. So counties is over here on the right. And then I tell it left, inner, or right. So if I say left, what it means is I want to keep every row in my left table. So that's the one that I'm looking at here, whether or not there's a match in the right table. So you'll see here, Thomas lives in Bayer County. I don't have data for Bayer County here, okay? So if I do a left join, we can make sure this works, but Thomas should be here and it should just not bring, oh, it deleted everything. All right, counties, county, median income, we're doing a left join. So what should happen is that all of these get values and Thomas remains even though we don't know the median income for Bayer County right here. There's no match, okay? If I do a right join, it means I want one row for everything on the right, whether or not there's a row on the left. So if we run this, we get Galveston County here and the median income for Galveston, even though there's no match in my salaries table, okay? So that one here doesn't really make sense. We probably wouldn't want this. I can think of instances where we would want a left join here. If I don't want to lose any of my people, I might just be okay with having some null values here. That's fine. The other join type is inner. So inner means that I only want a row if there's a match, okay? So if I run this, I'm going to lose Thomas because there's no match for Thomas, okay? So it really just depends on the analysis that you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and leave this one as left. I think that makes the most sense here. Again, depends on what you're doing. But let's look at maybe a more interesting example. And then obviously from here you can export and then take this into Excel, whatever, do your pivot tables, anything you want with it. So there's actually a way that we use data merges in processing the apartment data that you use in the class. So I have two tables here. I have a table of, these are all of the addresses of the apartment complexes that we have in our database basically. And I've gone ahead here and split the addresses so I have a nice street address right here. And I've made everything lowercase, okay? We also have a table of police reports. Okay, and you can see that in a year there are 32,000 police reports. And some of these happen at apartment complexes and some don't. Okay, and what I want to do is create a spreadsheet that is only the police reports that occur at apartment complexes. All right, so I want to just get rid of all the other ones. And I've done the same thing here where I've split the address column and lowercased it. Okay, so address 1 here matches address 1 here. And obviously this is imperfect, but you know, it's kind of a quick, easy way of doing what we want to do. All right. So I've got another tab here for my join, and I'm going to say, okay, start from my police reports. And what I want to do is reduce this list to only matches, okay? So I'm going to add a step, I'm going to join tab, I'm going to join my apartment addresses, I'm going to join on address 1. I'm not going to add any columns because there's nothing in my addresses that I want to add here. I already have my address here. But what I want to do is I want to get my join type. So left, my left table is my police reports. So if I say left and run this, I'm going to get, so there's 32,751 rows here. I'm going to run this. I'm still going to have 32,751 rows when I'm done, okay? My right table is my addresses. So if I choose right, it's going to give me a row for each of my addresses, and regardless of whether there's a police report at that address. Okay, so here I get 4,450 rows. So that's better, but I'm worried that there might be addresses that don't have reports here, and I don't want those. So this is a time when I want an inner join. So I want all the rows from my police reports, but only if there's a matching row here. So I don't want any of my addresses where there aren't police reports. I don't want any of my police reports where there aren't apartment addresses. So if I run this, I'm going to get 4,420, and these are now limited to only the addresses are over here. So again, this is a little imperfect because it relies on people typing the addresses the same way, but at this point it's about the best we have. And here you could export this. You could do another merge if you had, say, a table with the address and the complex name, if you wanted to do that. You could export this and run a pivot table to see which complexes had the most police calls. You could then segment it on activities. So there's a lot you can do here. That's an inner join. So just to review, when you're joining, I need one column that has the exact, something I'm going to match in. Okay, so here it's the county. In Workbench, this column header has to be the exact same in each table. And then we're going to think about them as left and right. Okay, so the table I start with is left. The table I'm joining to is right. And my join type tells me what to do with those. So left means keep every row in my left table, regardless of whether there's a match. Right means keep every row in my right, regardless of whether there's a match. And inner says only keep rows where there is a match. Okay. You can also do this in Tableau. I like doing it in Workbench. You can conceivably do it in Excel, but it's much more difficult. So I like Workbench for this.